So welcome to the next video. So here we will move ahead. We will get an introduction to what is known as a logical operators in C. Okay. So we will learn this through an example. So let's say we have a small task. The task is to get 3 numbers from the user and display the largest number, right? So if user gives you 3 numbers, we have to compare those numbers and get the largest number. To compare, what we have to use is relational operators that we have seen in the last class, right? So we'll just see. So first we will start by declaring variables. So I'll use double here. I'll name by variables as n1, n2, n3. So I'll ask for a prompt. Please enter 3 numbers, right? So I'll receive the numbers using scanf. So the 3 numbers. The identifier for the keyword identifier for double is %lf. So this I have to give 3 times because I am taking 3 values, and I have to point to the direction of the memory location of each variable. So how do we use this? N1, the first one, ampersand N2, and ampersand N3, right? So when this happens, what is going to happen is the first value will go to N1, second N2, and third N3, right? So now we have 3 numbers. Now how do we compare those values? So the logic we are going to use is something like this. Let's say user input 3 numbers, 12, 13, 14. So this will be in our N1, N2, N3. So what I will do is I'll compare these 2 values, N1 and N2, 12 and 13. Okay. So what I will do is I'll compare using relational operators, N1 greater than N2. Okay. So in our case, this is true. So that means 13 is greater than 12. And is N1 greater than N2? Oh, sorry, it will be false. My mistake. I'm sorry. So this will be, is N1 greater than N2? False. That means 0. So then what happens? So we know that N1 is not greater than N2. So if it is false, means what you have to do is you have to compare N2 greater than N3. So that is also false. Okay. So that means N2 is greater than N1. N3 is greater than N2. So that means N3 is greatest number. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. We have to first we will compare these 2 values. After that, the largest number we will know, and from that we will compare with the third value. Correct? Okay, let's see. So I'll use if N1 is greater than N2. So if this is true, what I will have to do is so that means if this is true means N1 is now greater than N2. So now I have to compare if N1 is greater than N3. Correct? So if it is true, we will go here. Again, this is true means I can easily write printf is the largest number, which is on N1. Okay, so understand it very carefully. If N1 is greater than N2, then what I am doing is I am checking. So that I understood that, okay, the first number is greater than the second number. Now I am just again checking is the first number greater than the third number. If that is also true, then first number is obviously the biggest number. Now if this is false, what is the meaning? So this is false means N1 is greater than N2, but N1 is less than N3. Correct? So N1 is greater than N2 and N3 is greater than N1. So that automatically N3 will be greater than N2 also. So I can write n3 is the largest number. Okay. Now we'll look into the next case. So let's say, so this is okay. If n1 is greater than n2, if this is false, what do we have to do? Correct? If this is true, I will do all these things. If this is false, means the meaning of false is nothing but n2 is now greater than n1. Okay, so I have to check if n2 is greater than n3 also. If this is true, means I can write, sorry, n2 is the largest number. Else n3 is the largest. So I hope this is clear. Again, think here, n1 is greater than n2. If this is false, means n2 is now greater than n1. Okay, so now we know that second number is greater than first number. We are checking the second number is greater than the third number also. So that means if it is true, means again the second number will be the largest number. If this is false, means n3 is greater than n2 and n2 is greater than n1. So n3 will be the largest number. Correct? So I hope this is clear. So let's run this and see. 12, 13, 15. So 15 is the largest number. So if I want to format it, I am getting a lot of zeros here. If I put dot 2, it will convert around to the second 2 decimal places, right? "12, 17, 13. So now 17 is the largest number. So it is giving me the numbers, right? So it's a simple example. So now you have to remember, I am not putting bracket here because there is only one line after if. So this kind of statements, it is always better to, give braces here. Okay. So this is for this if. This much will run. Right. So I would say always try to give this braces, curly brackets. Now I didn't want to do because everywhere I had only one line. Okay. So it is a good practice to always give this curly bracket, right? So this is one method of doing it. We can again do this in another method also. So we will see that. So what I'll do is I'll just keep this code. I'll copy this code to a new window and I will delete up to this. Okay. So what I'm going to use now is what is known as an logical operator. So if n1 is greater than n2 and n1 is greater than n3, okay, printf is the greatest number n1. Now what is this? I will explain to you what this is. How does it work? Okay. Else if n2 is greater than n1 and n2 is greater than n3. Okay. into else 3. Okay, so here strictly what I will do is I will put an equal to sign also here, so that if both are equal also, we can consider that the first value is greater than the second value, right? Okay, I will just run this. 12, 13, 17. 17 is the latest number. Okay, we'll format this. 0.2, 0.2. So let's say 19, 12, 11. So 19 is the largest number, right? So how does this work? What is happening here? Okay, so here what we are doing is we are using what is known as a logical operators called AND. Okay, so how does an AND work? Okay, so let's say logical operator. So one operator that we are studying is what is known as AND. So AND works like this. So what we are doing, we are comparing two statements with AND. Okay, if this and this both are 1, then only AND will give 1 as a result. If this is 0 and this is 1, it will give 0. If this is 1 and this is 0, it will again give 0. If this is 0, this also 0, it will give 0. Right? So, and this operator will return 1 if and only if both of the comparing statements are true. Okay, so that means here in this context, if n1 is greater than or equal to n2, so this is true, this is returning. So last class we have seen this relational operators, after the operation it will return a 1 or a 0. Okay, so if this is returning 1 and this is also returning 1, then only this entire statement will be 1. Okay, if this is 1, then it will go and run this line, right? If this is not satisfying and this is satisfying, that means the condition is not true. If this is satisfying, satisfying means it is returning 1 and this is returning 0, then also it is 0. If both of the conditions are not satisfying, then it will return again 0, right? So this is what is known as a logical AND operator, right? So there's a small table. So this is like you might have studied in your 12th standard physics, AND operator, OR operator, and a NOT operator. Okay. The second operator is, so we'll study that also, OR operator. So it is given by two vertical lines like this. So in keyboard, if you see, you have to press Shift, okay, and press the backslash. Shift plus backslash, right? So this you have to do 2 times. So on the an OR operators, if this is 1 or this is 1, it will give 1. The first one is 1 and second one is, the first one is 0 and second one is 1, it will give 1. If the first one is 1, second one is 0, it will still give 1. If both are 0, then only it will give 0, right? So this is an OR operator, right? If both, when you are comparing these two statements, if both statements are returning true, then only it will return a true. If one is returning false, false means 0, other is returning true, again it will give true. So either of this is 1, that's the right statement. Either of the two statements are correct, it will give a 1 as the output. So we'll use an OR in some other program in classes coming up. And if both are false, then only it will give false. And the last operator is not. Okay, not operator. It is given by exclamation. So if you give not operator to 0, it will become 1. If you give not operator to 1, it will become 0. So not is basically an operator which just changes the status. Okay. So for example, let's say n1 is equal to 2, n2 equal to 3. Okay. If you write if not n1 greater than n2. So if you do this, what happens is, so this will return n1 is greater than n2. n1 is greater than n2. Is it true? No. It will return false. So the entire operation will return 1. Okay. So this is 0. If you are applying a not operator to 0, so it will become 1. So it is termed as a true statement. Right? So again, in summary, 3 operators we have studied. So first is arithmetic. So 3 operators means 3 group of operators: plus, minus, multiply, divide, modulo, division. Relational, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to. And now logical and or not. Okay. So these are the operators that we have studied so far. So I guess we'll stop here. We'll continue in the next session. See ya.